Good morning, everybody. It's JJW and Deacon. The show's starting right after this.
What?
Step 1, wake up, really gon' rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gon' rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Good morning, Deacon. Good morning, Internet. It is Monday morning. It's the start of a brand new week. We get a whole week of amazing news. We don't even know what's going to happen. It is going to be great. I'm excited. I woke up an hour and a half ago and I started drawing because, it's October, Deacon. I think it's the first Monday in October.
Is it?
No, it's the second. No, it's the second second Monday. But so bad on me for being too slow about this.
This Monday in October, to be honest. Monday, October the 10th is Smashing Pumpkins in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, and me and my brother and my son and his buddy have had tickets for a long time. It was a birthday or Father's Day gift.
Okay, so you say Smashing Pumpkins. I immediately am thinking 1990s music videos, black and white, right?
Good stuff.
I'm also thinking that was like 30 years ago. We're dealing with aging rock stars, and I've been to concerts with aging rock stars, but I haven't seen Smashing Pumpkins. So
this will be my fourth time seeing Smashing Pumpkins back then, and just a couple of years ago we went and saw the Smashing Pumpkins again, and they rock just as much. So the aging rock star thing, it just depends. I talked to a gentleman not too long ago that went to Nashville that saw the Rolling Stones. And we sat there and talked for a long time about the Rolling Stones in Nashville. And I said, that's a concert that I would not want to go see because of their age. And he said, "Oh no." He said, "Dude, Mick Jagger was still running around that stage like he was 20 years old. And Keith Richards is a vampire. He's never going to die." But he said they rocked just as hard as they is, and I was like, well, all right. I mean, if you say that, that's my only concern, because Willie Nelson's been through town a couple of times in his elderly years.
Yeah.
And people have asked, "Hey, do you want to go see Willie Nelson?" And I thought about it, and I was like, no, I don't, because I am so used to hearing these Willie Nelson songs sung by a younger Willie Nelson. And now when I go to the show, I think in my mind, I'm going to expect those songs, and I'm going to hear an older Willie Nelson with an older Willie Nelson's voice and a different arrangement to that song that I might not like. And then I will have a bad memory of I went and seen Willie Nelson and it wasn't all that good. I don't want that. I never got to see Willie Nelson. That's just the type of person I am. I don't want a clouded memory, just because I can say I saw Willie Nelson. No, the Pumpkins are good. I know you're concerned, like you said, age 20, 30
I just
years
don't
ago.
know.
They still rock. I saw them last year, the year before. They
see
still
what Billy
rock.
Corgan let me see what Billy Corgan looks like.
He still looks the exact same. I mean, he looks the exact
kind of a
same.
frumpy flump at the time.
He's a frumpy little nerdy guy with a bald head. I was a Pumpkins fan when Billy Corgan had long, straight hair back in the Gish days. Before Today, that was their big song. Remember, Today is the greatest. And that one made them.
Yeah. I like that song.
They had a couple of albums. Before that. And he had hair back in the day.
Okay, let's see. This is an MSN story from last month. Hold on. No, I have to do this. I gotta
go ahead. No, that's I'm not even that's not even the big exciting reason why I'm
okay.
Excited.
What's the big exciting reason?
Because the band opening up for the Smashing Pumpkins tonight is Jane's freaking Addiction, man. The original Jane's Addiction with the guitarist, Mr. Dave Navarro. And I get to see Dave Navarro play the guitar tonight. I'm very excited. I've never got to see Jane's Addiction. And Perry Farrell with Jane's Addiction. I don't know. You're not a big music guy. I am.
I'm not.
Jane's Addiction Perry Farrell was a huge influence in music back in the 90s.
Pyros.
Yeah, Porno for Pyros, Jane's Addiction. He's the one that created Lollapalooza. That was his brainchild. So, I mean, I was trying to explain to my son who's 14, 15, getting into music, and I was trying to explain to him who Perry Farrell was. And the best way that I could explain it to him was, I was like, you think of all of these bands from the 90s as a bunch of teenagers, like 16-year-olds running around. Perry Farrell was the 24-year-old guy that was still kind of hanging out with the teenagers, but he was the one that the teenagers were like, yeah, he's a cool guy. He's an older guy, but he's cool. That's who Perry Farrell was. He was the older guy that kind of, y'all need to straighten it up and look, why don't we do this way? Kind of the de facto leader, not really leader of but he was kind of.
He probably had more of a clear vision about like whatever kind of counterculture, subculture stuff he wanted to do. And then you had a lot of these younger guys that were basically hopeful emerging artists from the grunge scene and some leftovers from the 90s alternative rock, alternative punk stuff. I was thinking about one of these bands the other day.
Perry Farrell had more of a vision. Most of those guys were like, all we care about's the music and the rock. And Perry Farrell was like, I care about the music, but
and now like I could be wrong about this.
Mind,
I could be wrong about this, but in the time when Lollapalooza began, we didn't have annual music festivals. Certainly not regional ones. There was there was like forever about people talking about Woodstock back in '69.
Yeah, Woodstock.
You didn't go to New York.
You didn't have these big festivals like that. You just didn't. And when Lollapalooza started, it was kind of like, oh, that's cool. And then the next year they're having it again. You're like, man, that's awesome. Yeah. And then remember they started to pick up on it because the skateboarding got really big. The X Games and the skateboarding in the 90s got huge. And they started having like the Vans. I remember it was like the Vans World Tour or the Vans something tour, the Vans shoes went around and they had like skateboarding on half pipes and stuff, but they also had bands like you know, these new bands like Blink 182 and Bowling for Soup and, you know, those little poppy punk bands that came out. You know, they were punk, but they were like 90s pop punk is what I call them. Blink 182, Bowling for Soup, Fountains of Wayne, you know, those like little pop punk bands is what they were. And they were kind of cool, you know?
In the area that I lived in, I mean, I guess I could have gone. I think Lollapalooza was like a touring event. I don't know, but in the area where I lived,
when it first started, it was, yeah. It kind of went around, yeah.
When the area where I lived was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area back in the 1990s, and we had this radio station called, I think it was like 94.5 The Edge or something like that, EDG maybe, and they had from 1992 to 2017, they had an annual like music show. So I went in 1995. I just looked it up and made sure. I went in 1995. I might have gone in 1996 as well. Now in 1994, and so the one that I was like, oh, that was last year. It's going to be amazing. In 1994, they had the Violent Femmes, Crash Test Dummies. They had, let's see, Tripping Daisy. Yeah. So they had some bands, and I was like, yes. So I was like, in 1995, I got a bunch of my friends, and we all went and we bought tickets and we went. And and we didn't have Violent Femmes or Tripping Daisy or Crash Test Dummies. We had Adam Ant, Letters to Cleo, Veruca Salt, Blues Traveler. We saw Blues Traveler live.
Veruca Salt's not bad. Yeah. Letters to Cleo had one song. They were like a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Who was the first one you said?
Adam Ant.
Oh, Adam Ant's an old 80s guy that, you know.
I think he did a song from a song that was in a movie or whatever. You know,
he had a couple of 80s, early 80s hits.
Yeah.
Letters to Cleo, and then Blues Traveler. I mean, John Popper is an unbelievable musician.
Right. And at the time he was still Big John. You know, he was still Big John Popper.
And the Blues Traveler songs that were not on the radio are the best ones. You know, the ones that you're like, I've never heard that Blues Traveler song. Well, that's probably the best one that they have. You know, the ones that are on the radio are good, but they weren't the good ones, you know.
Well, the ones that they got on the radio obviously they had deep hooks. You know, like they would get you, and you'd be, and their music videos were good too.
They were one of those bands like I always said, like Blind Melon. Blind Melon is only known for that song "No Rain," but that was like their worst song on their 2 albums that they had. They were one of the best '90s bands, most underrated '90s bands.
Yeah, but
underrated '90s band.
Yeah. So I only went to, I guess, probably these 2 Edge Fests, and, you know, otherwise I'm not too much of a music person. And after 96, I joined the Army. So I just left, you know? Yeah. So I went into going to Edge Fest like, we're going to see the Violent Femmes. This is going to be amazing. Yeah. Well, they weren't on the card at all. And instead I saw Adam Ant and Letters to Cleo and, you know, Blues Traveler, and that was cool. The Nixons, Deep Blue Something, Hagfish.
I like the Nixons. I remember them. That was a chick band.
Yeah, we had.
They were good.
And Gravity Kills. In '96, it was Gravity Kills. Yeah. So that's pretty much the you know, the only festival I went to. A couple of years later, or maybe maybe later in that year, I saw Sex Pistols live. That was kind of cool.
That would be one of those just to say that you've seen them type bands. I was never a big Sex Pistols fan. I just wasn't. I guess you'd have to be alive in during that time period.
Well, look, and that was like that. I mean, that was basically come out of retirement to make a payment on the mortgage tour, is what that was.
Yeah, and they, you know, the only reason the Sex Pistols got big is because of what they were at the time, and MTV needed something. We needed something edgy like that, you know, and that's the only reason.
All right, so here we're looking at Billy Corgan. So Billy Corgan's got to be pushing 50 now.
Yeah, I bet he's 50. I'm 46, so he's got to be 50.
I haven't listened to Smashing Pumpkins in years, and if I did, it would be stuff left over from the 90s.
And you know, my son, we were talking about it, and he was like, "Man, they're not all hard." And I'm like, "No, No, some of Smashing Pumpkins' absolute best songs are ballads and beautiful. The piano piece from Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness right at the beginning of
Yeah.
Tonight, that piano piece. And Tonight's not a big, hard, heavy song. And 1979's not a heavy song, but you go like XYZ down on the album and some of these other ones, and you get some really heavy type songs. But Smashing Pumpkins, I mean, they just, they are what they are. A guy was telling me the other day, a
Now,
guy that I know from California, grew up in California. He's like, no, I listened to Pantera, so it wouldn't have been cool for me to listen to Pantera and the Pumpkins, because they're
hey,
two.
I met a dude at a Pantera once.
Why not? Can you be a Pantera and a Smashing Pumpkins fan? What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
What is
right.
wrong with that? Why do you have to be a label? Why do you have to be like?
No, why do you have to join a
That's
team? Why do you
bullcrap.
have to join a tribe?
I've always hated that. Me and my brother laugh at the fact that there's like 50 different categories for rock and metal music. There's like 50 different categories for metal
Right.
music and rock. It's like, what the hell? I hate freaking the labels on music. I understand that you have to have some generic labels on music, but I hate this detailing labeling.
Well, listen, you
and
can't sell what you can't put a label on.
I used to be that guy, and I tried to get out of that. So as a kid, I was and I had a specific band. Okay. My buddy found this band called 311 back in the early 90s.
Oh yeah.
This band called 311 back in the early 90s. They had one album called Music. He found it by going to a mall in like Wisconsin, and they were playing it at a CD store. And he was like, who is this? So he found it and brought it back, and it was like our little private band. They rocked. They were like a mixture between rap and rock, and it was awesome. And then they put out a second album, and we loved it. And then they put out a third album and got on the radio, and all the popular kids started liking it.
Yeah.
And they found 311, and we had already liked them for 2 years and been a huge 311 fans, and we were pissed off. I was pissed off. All the damn popular kids that I didn't like, all the little asshole kids that are just posers, all of a sudden they like 311 because they got down, down on the freaking radio. And everybody's like, oh, 311 rocks. And now when you go, I went to a 311 concert in Nashville, and it had like 150 people there. I can remember almost meeting Nick Hexum, at the freaking head shop beforehand. That was like an intimate, that was my band. And so I thought like that for years. I hate 311 now that they're popular. And I thought like that for years. And now I try to, when I see that in young people, I try to like, no, stop thinking like that. That's stupid. All right. If you don't like the Beatles and you think the Beatles suck, that's fine, man. But you've got to respect the Beatles, and you have to respect what they did and what they did for music and all of the music that has happened since Paul and John and George and Ringo. You've got to respect that. You might not like the Beatles. You might not like the Rolling Stones. You might think you might not like a Smashing Pumpkins song, but you can't be like, the Smashing Pumpkins suck. Because you need to respect the Smashing Pumpkins because of who they influenced, and who you like today probably was influenced by Billy Corgan at one point. If you're like, I really like The Weeknd, and you talk to The Weeknd, The Weeknd's like, oh, dude, if it wasn't for freaking like 1979,
when you're young, it's all about the beat of the jam and what your friends like. To be honest, it's about it makes your head bop, or your friends have told you like it, and you're not going to admit it. You're not going to be like, oh yeah, I like it because my friends like it. But the reason you're even listening to it is because your friends like it, and you want to be part of the social in group. So when you're young, it's one thing. When you get older, you start to realize and learn like all of these artists and musicians that you are emotional. To be frank, especially your teenage years, you start listening to music at a time when your emotional core is still developing, and whatever songs it is, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Whatever you're listening to at the time when you pass through the phase of emotional kind of development and go from being a child into a teenager to a later adolescent, that music, whatever it is, good or bad, is going to be bonded to your brain. It's going to be part of the it's going to be part of whatever is encoded in your mind of a time when I was struggling, but I was becoming myself. So there's an enormous amount of music that's probably not good that I'm like, I hear it, I'm like, oh, it's not good, but like, it's like it brings me back, right? It brings you back. So,
oh yeah. There's songs like that with me that are absolutely terrible, but when I hear them, I sing them every time because
can't get the words out of your head. Now that Blind Melon Bumblebee music video, if I could ever erase that from my mind, I would.
No Rain,
it was on radio. It was like there was like, oh, there's like high rotation, and then there's like, well, we're back from commercial. Let's play this video again.
Yeah. Well, radio stations back in the day would have some on like a 2.5 hour rotation because that's how they got paid from the record companies, or bonuses from record companies. No, Blind Melon. Don't listen. I would recommend Blind Melon to any single person, but skip that song then. Because everything else that they do is absolute, just a piece of genius work. Every song is a piece of genius.
So we were talking about Billy Corgan. We're talking about Smashing Pumpkins. You're gonna go see him. I just read a couple of lines of the story and I remembered this thing. So one of the cool things about about Billy Corgan especially. So maybe you know about this, but maybe you don't. So if you're a band, 4 or 5, your friends in high school, you make a band, you maybe put a record deal, or maybe you make some music and it gets a little traction and you're able to put a record deal together. You guys are a team. You're a band together. You perform the music together. But the way that music is sold, the person who writes the song gets royalties and the people that perform the song get royalties.
That was a big thing with the Pumpkins. Go ahead, you tell. I know exactly the story because it was a huge thing with the Pumpkins.
Now, Smashing Pumpkins, right? Not even, you can't even question their success. Maybe you're not goth or emo or whatever it was that appealed to that people at that time, but this was a massively successful band. They sold millions of records. They had videos, they had tours, they had all kinds of massive success. But it was not it wasn't the entire band that had writing credit for the songs.
No, it was just Billy Corgan.
Billy Corgan. So now I don't know
Billy
what the split up.
Go ahead.
I don't know what
I've seen an interview about this.
I don't know what the revenue split was, but I would not be surprised if it was something like half of the profits go to the, half of the royalties are for the writer, and this is like 30. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. This delay is killing me.
Oh, okay. So for whatever song, royalties would come in for the songs. The writer's portion of it would go exclusively to Billy Corgan, and then the performance portion of it would be split up among the band. Over the course of like 20 years or whatever, this really got on the nerves of some of the band members, and
it didn't last that long.
You can see it
didn't go that
really
long.
How long did it take?
I don't remember. It happened very quickly with Billy, and he had a lot of really bad financial advice during the first. He was getting a lot of bad advice because he was younger, and they told him that you're going to make a lot more money than the rest of the band, and he didn't realize how quickly that would amass. And he said after just a little while, he realized that he was making a lot more money, and it really pissed off Jimmy Chamberlain, James Iha, and Darcy, their bassist. Yeah. James Iha was
and they were like, hey, this isn't fair. Give us writing credit. And Billy Corgan, who wrote the songs, was like,
he wrote the songs. No. He was like, no, I'm not.
I wrote the songs.
I don't blame him for not giving them writing credit. He should have given, he probably should have worked it out to give them something, but we don't know the whole story. And he didn't talk to Darcy for a long time, a couple of decades.
It says right here, one band member I didn't talk to for 16
years. That's Darcy, the bassist. Yeah, that's was Darcy, was he married to Darcy? No.
Is he married to one of the members of the band, or was his wife?
No. No, they've got
okay.
a new girl that's a bassist now, I think. But James Eha was he didn't talk to him. They split up for a long time. That's why the Pumpkins split up there for a long time. Jimmy Chamberlain, the drummer, started his own band and played around, and that's my brother's idol is Jimmy Chamberlain. So he's been to see him and his band and the Pumpkins and all this, you know. So that's how he got into music. So yeah, it was. I mean,
Well,
and I've seen a big long interview with Billy Corgan. There's actually a good one. I think he's on Joe Rogan. I think it's really good. You know, and he gets
I
real.
feel like I may have seen that.
He gets really
Yeah.
into detail about that music business and how he was. You know, he was like, I was young and naive, and I was getting all this money because he grew up very poor as well
Yeah.
in Chicago and whatnot. He didn't have any money. They were very, very poor. So he was like, I was like, I could have whatever I wanted. And this was like unreal to me, you know?
Right.
So he made some bad decisions and whatnot, but now he's a 50-year-old guy. And so
you learn, and it looks like they're all in a better place. He says that they're back together. Their families are backstage. Everybody's on the same wavelength. Everybody's playing the same game. I mean, look, you go from like, we were only making, I don't know, we were having to split 30% for performance rights and getting none. Well, you know, when you guys are not the Smashing Pumpkins, you're making nothing. So it's better to be taking home a good chunk of Smashing Pumpkins money than whatever your other project was. Anyway, I'm glad they're having a good time, and I hope you enjoy the show. How appropriate! You're going to see Smashing Pumpkins in October, huh?
yeah, and
That's
then
pretty
funny.
good. Oh, look at
Yeah.
that! My name says rumble.com/JJW. If you haven't already, whatever. I'm pitching. I'm doing a show.
I
Right
know.
now. If you haven't already,
delay. Motherfucker.
if you haven't already, please go to rumble.com/JJW and make sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that little plus button if you're on your computer, or a little fist thing on the top if you're on your phone. We want it. It's an established fact. We say stuff on this show that can get us banned on YouTube, and we don't know when that's going to happen. So if you want to keep watching the show, make sure you're following on Rumble, at least as a backup. But that's the preferred platform. Okay, Deacon. I'm sorry to have interrupted you. I was working on shilling.
Honestly, I'm one of these people now that I guess that's why I try to interrupt and whatnot, because if I don't say it, I forget it. I have no fucking clue what I was going to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. But you know, I'm the exact same way. So if I'm going, I'm going to be like, I got to finish this thought, because otherwise it's fleeting. It's going to be gone.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Now that
we got
it's
some
fucking
news,
halfway through the show,
let's see.
we've talked about music for 30 fucking minutes.
Sure. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. What was it? What was the thing you were going to say?
I don't know.
You lost it.
I don't know.
You lost it. Okay, let's cover a couple of stories. I'm gonna hit some of these real quick, Deacon. Let's see. We got this. I don't know. I know you love this actor, and so you're probably very excited about this. Tom Cruise is set to become the first actor. Tom Cruise is set to become the first actor to shoot a movie in outer space. So now I
saw this, and the first thought that went through my mind, and I know I'm a bad person. You don't have to tell me I'm an evil person, because I know I am. But the first thought that went through my mind was ground control to Major Tom. Floating away. I was like, when Tom Cruise goes to space, can he just float away, and we'll tell his family members and everybody goodbye and God bless, and Tom says hello? Can we really send him to Mars? Or like, can he be the first actor on Mars? Please, America, since we love Tom Cruise so much, and he is the greatest fucking thing that's ever done. I mean,
I think he makes good movies.
Fart and win an Academy Award. People will go to the movies and watch. It could say Tom Cruise's
whatever that is.
Je ne sais quoi. Is that what his fart sounds like when he goes?
I guess so.
Je ne sais quoi. Is that what it? I mean,
you can't keep people away from this guy. People love him. Throw money at his movies.
People's faces, and they would be like, "Oh, it's Tom Cruise. I love it."
Yeah,
people get into that shit. But look, seriously. if we love him so much, can he be the first actor to act on Mars? Can we do this now? Elon, buddy,
All right.
got an idea?
So I
Top
guess
Gun,
I'm.
Mars.
So I had
Goose's-
thought that they had
Goose's
already made.
grandson goes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's all right. I thought they had already made a movie in space, but perhaps I'm thinking of they were gearing up to make, and it wasn't Tom Cruise attached, but I was thinking that there was already kind of an initiative to film or make a movie in space, at least partially in space. Maybe this project was that or not, but there was a Doug. So he's the Tom Cruise has been teamed up with Doug Liman on a movie pitch that involves filming in space, which was first tabled in 2020 before the pandemic. So maybe this pitch I remember from 2020. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Doug Liman makes great films. So whatever you say about anything else, Doug Liman makes some awesome movies. Now I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know his name as a director. I've seen it on screen, and I've always enjoyed whatever movie it was. Now the one I do remember right away is Jumper, which is maybe not a super popular movie, but it had Hayden Christensen as this kind of like dude who could teleport or whatever. Fun movie, super fun. So Doug Liman makes fun movies, and I think it's a cool idea to see Tom Cruise. Now you think like, oh, you're gonna put Tom Cruise in a rocket, and it's gonna be so dangerous, and you're like, oh yeah, and you know what'll happen? Everything will go perfect. Tom Cruise will go up in a rocket, come right back down. Everything's gonna be great.
It's because they're not really going into space, JJ. They're going up there and doing some shit and going and taking the jet and going down. They're not really going into space. And what's the difference? How would we know if Tom Cruise was filming in space or not? Because I've watched a lot of fucking movies where I could have swore that they were filming in space.
That's true.
I could have swore that they're filming on a different planet.
You'll be able to tell because his face, he's 60 years old. If you're actually in no gravity, his face is kind of like, no gravity will no longer be able to assist
like
him.
Anyway.
But he's probably going to go up to the International Space Station. So.
I bet the Tom Cruise Mafia, I bet he could have me killed.
I don't know, maybe.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tom Cruise. Please forgive me that I haven't watched Maverick. Yeah. Rob Liefeld, I'm a huge Rob Liefeld fan.
Yeah,
loved the guy forever. Love Rob Liefeld, and in all of the hate that man has gotten over the years, can't draw feet and can't draw hands and can't draw anything, and he's gotten a lot of hate. I've defended him. I've defended him on everything, but he tweeted something like yesterday. It was like watching Top Gun Maverick for the 16th time, and I'm like, Rob, buddy. I've been your number one supporter through all these years, and you're fixing to lose me, man.
I should pull this story up. I saw Rob Liefeld giving somebody some like ass kicking on the internet the other day. Maybe I'll look it up and see if I can bring it back tomorrow.
Yeah, he's
kind of a pull no punches guy. A little bit.
No, not at all.
But he is also like supports the companies that supported him over time, but he can go a little rogue sometimes. So I thought this was an interesting story. Now, I don't think we covered it. I saw it in the news. I don't think I covered it. Last week, following Hurricane Ian, maybe we covered it. I don't know. Pete Buttigieg was in the news spinning Hurricane Ian as, because he's the Secretary of Transportation, spinning Hurricane Ian as a great opportunity for electric vehicles because they can be used as generators in times of emergency. You know that? Do you remember?
No, but I've seen. I think I know where you're going.
Well, I just wanted to kind of pair up that thought with this story here.
About the firefighters? Does this have anything to do with firefighters?
Florida officials. Hurricane Ian has turned electric cars into ticking time bombs. Surprise! When you have massive flooding and electric cars, guess what happens?
Guess what happens to the electric batteries in the electric cars?
Yeah,
in the flooding. Kaboomy! So, I've seen that one where the firefighters are having to try to put out the one.
You can't put these things out, dude. Lithium starts burning, and you're like, you better get away because that's going to go down to the core of the earth.
Away. Yeah. So
you get to suppress it with some kind of foam stuff.
30 what now? Oxygen. What California? What New York? 2020 what?
2035. Got to be 2035. No electric cars. Electricity only. And then we're gonna have massive flooding and random electric bombs.
Supposed to be like a series of islands by like the 2040s.
Okay. Bye,
Isn't that-
California.
Isn't that what they're supposed to? Oh, my bad.
I don't know.
I need to check
Anyway, I
that.
just thought this was kind of, I think you guys get the point here. Electric vehicles have caught fire in Florida after becoming waterlogged during Hurricane Ian, giving firefighters a new challenge that they haven't faced before. So there's a ton of EVs disabled from Ian. As those batteries corrode, fires start. That's a new challenge that our firefighters haven't faced before, at least on this kind of scale. Anyway, I'm sure the government's all over this, and we're going to have new firefighting technology to put out batteries. No problem. We got this in the bag.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Joe's
yeah.
got this, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Faux show. Joe Faux show.
For sure. Let's see. Let's hit one more. How about this? It's Monday. Sometimes we talk about migrant stuff, about border crossing, from a lot of different perspectives, mostly from kind of a compassionate and responsibility perspective. But I did want to point out that I saw this weekend. The Biden administration, Department of Homeland Security, has given cell phones to over 255,000 border crossers and illegal aliens that have been released into the U.S. So,
well, they gotta have phones in order to Uber and
right,
do stuff like that.
How are we supposed to get these people around if they can't?
How are they supposed to call Uber
phones?
Eats, JJ?
Yeah.
How are they supposed to get around? Be
Right.
compassion, you asshole! God Almighty!
Be compassionate. The DHS revealed the extent to which the Biden administration has ballooned the size of the alternatives to detention. This is an alternative to detention. Instead of capturing people that cross the border illegally without, permission or, allegedly are seeking asylum, and maybe some of them are, but, come on, let's be honest. Most people coming into the U.S. are trying to get more money and better jobs. And I don't blame them, but we got to be responsible. So as people cross the border in the millions, there's going to be 3.2 million people this fiscal year. By the end of this month, I believe 3.2 million people will have crossed into the United States, and only a fraction of which will be removed back to the country of origin. Many will be just released into the country, apparently with cell phones. So the alternative to detention is going to more easily and quickly release hundreds of thousands of border crossers and illegal aliens into American communities. Hundreds of thousands more border crossers and illegal aliens are released into the U.S. interior with only notices to appear. So you come into the United States and you get caught, and the border patrol says, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. Here you go. Here's your notice to appear in court. Make sure to show up." And I'm sure that works very, very well. Yeah. So this cost to American taxpayers is $360,000 a day for this program, including these awesome phones. So cool, I guess. All right, and we'll get off there. We'll get that story down before Deacon has any chance to comment on it. And YouTube. I want to say this is not a story about COVID. I'm not doing a story about COVID. This is not a story about COVID. This is a story about Marvel Comics promoting the vaccination, I don't know, for the COOF. So Marvel teams with Pfizer and promotes COVID vaccines in Avengers Everyday Heroes sponsored comic. This isn't my opinion. This is a news story on Breitbart.com, which may or may not be legitimate. I don't know, but I am issuing no opinion other than comic books are being used to make sure that, let's see, who reads comic books? This is going to be, I guess, mature adults that have a sustained digest of news information and can make well-informed decisions. Comic books are being used to
impressionable children. Impressionable children read comic books, JJ. You forgot them.
You know what? I can see why you would think that, but it's 2022. Children don't buy comics. Comics are not interesting to children anymore because they're all propaganda. All right. Anyway, so this is happening. Marvel, and it's not surprising. Pfizer said, "Hey, Marvel, we need to make some sales. How about we give you a couple grandy and you make a comic book?"
I saw this.
They do this all the time.
When I saw this, this just reinforced it. No, let me start that sentence over again. When I saw this justified the past several years of me reading comic books online for free and not buying comic books at the store like I used to a long time ago. I used to go and buy comic books, and I would buy my favorite comic books, and I was a Marvel kid. But, you know, over the years, and I've become a dad, and I have other responsibilities to put money to and whatnot, I would go and I would read comics online, and I felt bad because I loved the, you know, I like the artists and the writers, and I was that type of person because I appreciated the product as a whole. But and I don't feel bad anymore. I don't feel, when I see stuff like this, my personal beliefs, I don't feel bad reading the comics that are pirated, so to speak. I don't feel bad about it.
Well, I'm not going to give you any advice about that. Just be careful where you go on the internet, because, you know, you get something dirty up in your internet.
My God, I know that. But wait a minute, it's not out.
Anyway,
for folks that don't know, I just want to say, you know, I've said that I do pirate comics, and I don't feel bad about doing it because of this. I just want to pull this back out again. I can't believe I just took it back out. I do support comics that I do support certain ones.
Awesome. Ripaverse.com, guys. Go. It's out of campaign status, but you can still pick up a copy. You can order it from their regular store, and you'll get it in the next couple of weeks.
You see that? So I do support.
Absolutely.
I don't pirate everything. Okay.
You know, if we can ever get enough viewers to churn some monetization, part of the revenue would be like, hey, we need content. Let me make sure that Deacon gets some comics. That's what I don't
want comics. I want to send comics to other people.
Hello. Hey, let's build the show big enough that we can have like a Christmas box for every year where we could get people to donate comics to, like, I don't know, soldiers or something like that. But good comics, not, you know, not medical propaganda. All right. God, I'm going to get banned on YouTube again. You know, if we get banned again, if I get another strike, it's going to be 2 weeks off the air on YouTube. But you can still, even if we get banned on YouTube, guys, you guys know that you can go to rumble.com/JJW. You can get messages every day. And guess what? I'm going to be putting up exclusive content on rumble.com. I'm going to be doing my weekend draw shows on rumble.com/JJW. And I might just get on the air and just, like, I don't know, stream of consciousness, cover a story, or may have some guests. Deacon, I don't know if you met Mr. E in the chat the other day, but, you know, he's a interesting fella, I think, and seems to be one that holds opinions contrary to us in certain regards. And I am all for exploring ideas and with opposition, with, you know, strong resistance, and like let's hew against with a little conflict in terms of, like, ideas, and find some better ideas. I don't want to convince him of anything. I don't think he wants to convince me of anything. Let's just talk about it and find out where our values are. With that being said, Deacon, I think it's time that I let people know about this. And we will get to monster movies. We're going to get to it quick. You posted something on the Discord. I thought it was hilarious, and so I was like, "Oh, this is great," but I don't want to get a copyright strike or violate somebody else's license of use. So I reached out to Socialist Mop on Twitter. You can go to YouTube and find Socialist Mop. You can go to twitter.com and find Socialist Mop. But this is amazing. Let's play this. Here we go. Bring it up. I'm going to leave us on screen here, but big shout out to Socialist Mop. Maybe I'll put his, let's see. Let me put this on here. Edit.
Do I need to mute? Am I muted?
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
I'm just putting a message on screen so that people can check out Socialist Mop. You can find it on Twitter. Here we go.
What's the song that is played where everybody is on the chair, everybody at going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. Last night on the television, I was on a telephone rapidly rising and with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's lives reflected in the NHEI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him in. We're going to seize the ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make that near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. I don't think as the idea that the political coverage of the
Yes.
I want to thank and recognize Dr. John Kingersong.
What?
My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going
This is
blank
brilliant.
now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea.
That's like the 5th time that I've seen that this weekend. I love that so much.
It is so good. So, guys, please go over to twitter.com/socialistmob or YouTube and follow him on YouTube for now and find out where else he is. So follow him on Twitter for now. It's gonna, that kind of stuff.
That's genius. Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him on Twitter and he gave us the okay to play it on the show. So big thanks to I mean, he's making people smile and he's learning them at the same time. It's so great.
Man, he definitely made me smile all weekend. I'm serious. That is like the 5th time I watched that because it would pop up and I had to watch it every time it popped up. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Well, I think you posted it because somebody posted it on Twitter and it was going to go viral, but it wasn't giving credit. And I was like, oh, this deserves somebody made this. This deserves credit. So I found it, put that on there. All right. Deacon, here it's time. It's time. It's time for Monster Monday Mayhem Madness. What did I say? Monday morning Monster Mayhem. Could have put madness in there too. Deacon, you got any favorite monster movies? Oh wait, hold on. You know what we need to do? We need to get in that spooky mood. Let's get some monsters on screen.
In here.
Come on, monsters! Monsters, where you at? Oh, they rose from the. Ew, these are gross looking. This is nasty.
This one right here.
Yeah, that's yours. That one's in there for you, sir. Well,
mostly
all of them are in there because I despise them. But that one's yours.
Mitchie,
I would have put John Cornyn in there too, but
did you do anything to his skin? Because that really looks like Mitch McConnell to me.
I
mean, Nancy over here, I can tell that you didn't touch up her picture at all.
Yeah, she's basically untouched. If you look really close at Kevin McCarthy's arms and his neck, you can't really see it because it's so dark. He has no neck. It's just like the bone from his from his spine holding his head up. And here. Is that? Let's see if this helps.
No.
Look at Kevin McCarthy's neck. It's just his spine. All right. Anyway, it's thanks. All right, it's Monster Monday. We're gonna talk some of our favorite monster movies or creature features or horror movies, but monster flicks, I think. And we're going to add some every Monday. We're going to stack some on. So I went down my list and I got a couple. Hopefully you got a couple.
I have
I
4.
will. You got 4? You
I
got
got 4, I got 4
you got
today.
you got
4 for today.
IMDb pages for him? Because I got some. I'm gonna do my first one.
I don't
Let's
need
see.
IMDb pages for these
Okay,
4.
that's fine. I just want to show people, give them a chance to
People have never
see.
heard of these movies. They're stupid.
You're right.
Well, I mean, I'm not listing them in any order. I'm just listing what we were
That's
doing
fine.
was making a list of how many, just like
I made a bunch. I went through the other day and I went on IMDb and I made I was like, I love this movie. I love this movie. I love this movie. And I just made a list. And then
I like a lot of movies,
never
but
mind.
I wanted to put this down to the ones that really, like, when I watched it, they invoked an emotion the first time that I watched it.
Yeah.
An intense emotion the first time that I watched it.
I would definitely say I have some feelings associated with each of these films.
Okay,
So here's my first one.
So that's how I'm judging all mine. Mine are not just, oh, I like that movie. I like Jaws, and it's a scary movie, but it doesn't make my list. You know, but there is some that people will be like, oh, so these are the ones that are really when I was a kid and I watched.
I would say for sure these movies matter to me. Now, are they the top 4? No, they're not. We're going to be doing this.
No, they're not the top. These aren't the top. Yeah.
So these are the bottom. The bottom of the top.
I will put my number 1. I will name my number 1, and I think you should too. Your number 1 scariest movie on Halloween. We should just have
absolutely. I've already
just have one on Halloween day.
Yeah, absolutely. I got my. And you know what? Think about this. We're probably going to have crossover on different weeks. Like I'll probably name one, and you'll be like, "Oh,
right,
already." Yeah, but I've already got my list ready. So here we go.
Okay.
Here's my.
So you go to yours first.
This is my Jeepers Creepers. I loved this movie. This movie is so. I'm gonna play the trailer, but there's gonna be no sound. I'll just let it kind of run in the background. Jeepers Creepers is this kind of like flick where I think that's a brother and sister, and that's the Apple guy. Is that the Apple? Yeah, it's the Apple guy. And they're traveling across country, and this mysterious dark truck kind of rolls up on them, and its plate, I think its plate says "Be seeing you" or "Be eating you" or something like that. And the truck in this movie is a character itself. It's so fun. This is a great film. It's for me. Now, I remember watching this with my brother. I don't know when this came out, a million years ago, 2001. So I remember watching this with my brother, and I think we watched it probably 2 times, maybe 3 times. And it was just so fun. It was such a fun movie. So there's sort of this like bat flying creature that you eventually see, but most of the movie you're being hounded and pursued by this truck. And so here's the truck here. Let's see if they show a little shot of it. This truck and this monster that's in the truck, and essentially I think and it doesn't matter what the plot is. Fun movie. Have you ever seen Jeepers Creepers? Do you like it?
Yeah, I've watched it a long time ago. It was a long time ago, but it was good. Yeah, I remember that.
Justin Long. Jeremy says, my brother says this Justin Long. Now, he may not even have as much affection for this movie as I do, but I think this is a fun movie.
No, but it's fun. I mean, yeah, Justin Long. It was okay.
All right, what do you got?
You want to go through yours, or are we going to go back and forth?
No, let's back and forth.
Okay, well, I'm going to pick one that hopefully maybe everybody has seen, but this one I saw in 1986 when it came out, and I never saw the first one, so I really did not realize it was a sequel of sorts, because at the time in 1986, I'm like, what, 10 years old, 9 years old. And I saw this at 9 years old. And my first one is Aliens.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Because it was such a suspenseful movie, and it still is such a suspenseful movie. But now you're older, you kind of, you kind of know what's going on, and you can kind of anticipate. Even if you've never seen it, you can kind of, or haven't seen it in a long time, you can kind of anticipate what's going to happen next. But as a kid, you couldn't. You didn't anticipate. And so
some weird ad of people talking there.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's strange.
Aliens
is a hands down classic film. That is a total classic film. it really it was a sequel to Alien, but it also like it's a very different tone. The first
Yeah,
Alien movie is a straight up you know, Ridley
horror,
Scott horror
space
movie
horror.
where like there's a monster gonna kill you somewhere in this ship.
And
Uh
this one is the
this
same, but it's more of a suspense. And I mean, Ripley was helping the little girl, and as a kid, I kind of, I associated with the little kid, so I
yeah.
was there with
Oh,
the little
really?
girl. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
What
that's
was her name? Her
Aliens
name
was a big. Can't remember her name. Yeah,
yeah.
the character's name, the little
Yeah.
girl's name.
I'll remember it after the show's over. It's such a great movie.
Newt.
That one.
Newt.
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 Yes. And you know what? I honestly loved all 4 of
Oh, I
these.
forgot Paul Reiser was in that, and Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton's amazing. Bill Paxton was just anything he was in, he
Wow.
elevated it. It was
Yeah,
just so
he's
good.
been in everything.
Game over, man. So
Man.
the whole movie, this entire movie is about getting to the colony and rescuing whoever's there. It's a rescue mission. It's a military rescue mission. All the
And the
military
only one alive is
their
Newt.
lives. And the only one there is Newt, and the only 2 that get out are Newt and Ripley. And but she's able to get Newt out. So this entire team of military, soldiers, super soldiers, really get wiped out, trying to get her out. And I love it, but people, especially at the time, they hated it. And then you had the third movie where, like, off screen, Newt dies. You don't even see her. She was, because it came out many years later. She wasn't even even similar at all. So they were like, "Oh, we can't recast her." And they had this other story, so they just killed her off screen. It's good stuff. So basically, which basically makes the entire movie of Aliens pointless because like the entire mission is a failure. Everybody died.
All right. Let's
Anyway,
let's
great
roll
stuff.
if we got 2 or 3 more.
Let's do another one. We got another one here. Let's go with my next. I'm gonna go this one. So no sound. Here we go. My number 2 movie on this list is Slither. Now you may have never seen Slither. Have you ever seen Slither?
No.
Okay.
What is it?
So Slither. Yeah, this is
probably a reason I've never seen this movie.
I mean, it was a low budget, low release, and this came out in 2000 and let's see, what year was it? I don't know what year it came out. 2006, right there. And it's rated R. It's a monster movie, creature monster movie. The creature is this self-replicating kind of like worm thing, and eats people or turns them into giant gelatinous monster or whatever. This might be the first. I don't know if it's the first film by James Gunn. James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad. Stars Nathan Fillion and Michael Rooker, and also Elizabeth Banks.
Wow, okay.
So Nathan Fillion plays a sheriff, and then Michael Rooker plays, I don't know, some sort of like abusive coach or something like that. And we'll just run the trailer here.
Are we gonna play the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No sound. So small town thing, and then like I think a meteor crash or something. You get this like kind of gross relationship between Elizabeth Banks and Michael Rooker, and then some sort of monster thing crashes. He gets stung, and you can see things go bad for Michael Rooker. And then not good. And Nathan Fillion is the hero cop, and he saves the day. And it's worms. It's gross. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Let's see if we can. Yeah, here's a shot. There's a shot of Rooker mid transformation. There's a shot in his house where he's just like taking over the whole room.
This one was a hey Michael, you want to be in this movie? And he's like, oh, I just bought this car. Yeah, I need to pay off this car.
Michael Rooker and James Gunn, tons of projects together. Anything that James Gunn does, I'm pretty sure he puts Rooker in. So
that's funny.
Let me just see if there's any more. It's good stuff. Oh yeah. Oh, they had like kind of squirty vomit slime or whatever. Yeah, fun movie. Okay, that's my second one this morning.
Okay. I'm gonna pick a quick one so we can get back.
Sure.
But my my second one I saw a long time ago, and I don't know if I saw it in 1984 when it first came out, but I saw it when I was a kid, and it's the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's the trailer there. You can kind of watch the original with Johnny Depp was in the
Yeah. Oh,
original
yeah,
one.
yeah. So when I was a kid, so when is this? This is 1984. So
1984.
I probably would have been 6. So I certainly didn't see this when I was 6.
No, I didn't see it
Um,
when I was 6. I
but
might have seen
a,
it, 10,
a
11,
year,
12.
yeah, right. A year or 2 or 3 later, it would have been available on videotape, maybe if they had VHS at the time, or
Yeah.
people could have seen it in reruns. But kids at my school watched this, and it was super. Maybe around the time of the sequel, it was super common for people to get the Halloween glove with the little fake knives on it, and they'd bring them to school. And everybody was so into this movie, and I had never seen it, and I literally just never watched it. I
Johnny.
kind of got the idea. I've seen the trailer before. People get sucked into the bed as they're, dreaming, and they get pulled into the
No, that's
nightmare
just that
realms.
one part. No,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
one part.
Not.
They
It doesn't happen a
can't
lot.
go
It
to
happens with
sleep.
that one.
Yeah, they can't. I
Right.
mean, yeah. It was just an interesting, and they've over the years they've used it to make money, which was a good idea. I would have
Sure.
too, but the first one was just
I
it
think
was
it was
scary
like
at the time.
the fundamental thing was the Freddy Krueger character was like a killer that died in a fire, and he was
Yeah.
evil and
Yeah, he come at you
plagued.
in your dreams, and if you
Yeah,
died in
he
your
plagued these
dreams,
kids in a dream.
yeah, you died in your dreams, you died in real life, and it was
Which is
that was scary, back then. So that one's still to this day when I see the original Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm like, "Eek." That one's kind of freaky.
all right. So we got two more each. I'm gonna do this one here.
We
Let's
could do
see.
one more. Well, I guess it don't matter.
Yeah, they'll be quick. Have you ever seen 30 Days of Night?
Oh no, I have not.
30 Days of Night came out in 2007, and it stars Josh Hartnett. This is a great movie. It's based on a comic book. It's an adaptation of a comic, and Josh Hartnett plays. I think he's the cop, and you have this town. I think maybe Alaska town plunged into darkness for a month because you're at the north. You're way up in the north. The sun doesn't shine on much, so there's an entire month of darkness. What a great place for a vampire story. Huh? Yeah. So
That's interesting.
so there's this Alaskan town. It's got a month long, and vampires get to just have a great time for a whole month. They wipe the entire town out. And great movie, great ending. I'm not going to spoil it or anything. If you haven't seen 30 Days of Night, you should absolutely check it out. It is just so good.
Okay.
Oh, come on, showstopper. All right. Oh man, it's great stuff. Okay, that's 30 Days of Night. That's my number 3 this morning. All right.
My number 3, I'll change it. Since we're on numbers here, 30 Days of Night. When I first saw this movie, came out in 2002, 28 days later.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. Still to this day, this is one that it will get me every time with the I don't want to say they're jump scares because they're kind of jump scares, but it gets me.
Let me say, this didn't cost very much money, and it was a great movie. Danny Boyle, and this may have been the first fast zombie movie.
Yeah. The zombies just taking off and running at sprinting. That was the scariest shit.
It's like, these things are not going to stop. And this is a great movie. The sequel is good.
I never watched the
sequel.
Better
film.
This one was just
you never? It's very good.
This one was so grand. I just knew that you couldn't do any better. I loved this movie much.
This is a great movie. Absolutely. 100%. It's on my list. It's higher up on my list, but it's on my list.
All right,
so
cool.
For sure.
All
right. Here's my last one for the morning, and then we're gonna sign off, guys. And if you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, share us on the internets or whatever. Here we go. Maybe one of the best movies from the 1990s for sure. The Army of Darkness, starring Bruce Campbell, filmed by Sam Raimi, sequel to Evil Dead 2.
The original may be on my list. I mean, it may be on my list on one of these Mondays. The first Evil Dead is I will be listing as one of mine. I didn't want to list it today because I like it so much.
I think it's so funny because they're like, we had almost no money, but we're gonna make a movie because we're young filmmakers, whatever. We're gonna make Evil Dead, and then it's gonna scary movie, except it was funny. So they're like, oh well, we'll make a sequel. We'll just make the same movie again.
The first one I didn't think was that funny. I thought the first one was scary as hell, and the second one was kind of funny on certain parts. But then this one has to be the single movie with the most quotable lines ever.
Oh yeah,
ever.
Yeah, Scary Monsters. And Bruce Campbell in his prime, reprising his character from Evil Dead 2. But except they just
I said the words. I'm gonna take the book now.
Absolutely. He was having a battle with his little his own eye in his shoulder, and then it popped out into a little version, and then it grew up and became
smart.
Evil.
That's smart. Evil Ash.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, so Army of Darkness, that is a living classic. All right, you got one left?
My last one, this one is a scary as crap movie. It scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. American Werewolf in London from 1981.
Oh, yeah, okay.
This one is a lot scarier than the remake American Werewolf in Paris that they did in the 90s or the 2000s or whenever that one came out. This one has got a really freaky scene. The guys go to London, they get killed by a werewolf, and the townspeople are really not one to admit that there's like a werewolf there, and he survives the attack, but his buddy there, of course, gets killed. And it's kind of campy and Howling-esque. But John Landis.
Yeah.
But there is a scene in this movie that still to this day, and I'm a 46-year-old man, when I see this scene, it still would send chills down me. And it is, Rick Baker. I forgot Rick Baker did the transfer.
I mean, this is the day of the practical special effects.
Yeah, that was practical special effects.
CGI. It's like, what can we do with latex and rubber and motors? And
Rick Baker was the man back then.
Real movie magic.
But the scene where they're like walking along this old English road at night, and there's a full moon, and you can hear this wolf howling, and there's nothing inside. That's just scary. Scary, yucky, scary.
So the sequel. So I don't know that I've ever actually seen American Werewolf in London, but I have seen, and I have it on my list, American Werewolf in Paris, which I think is a fun movie. It's not scary, but it's a fun werewolf movie.
Yeah, you got to watch you got to watch the first one, and keep in mind that it's 1981 when you watch it.
Yeah. I may have seen it. But I just so far back, I just don't remember too well. But great movie. All right. Well, that's all we got for this Monday morning Monster Madness. Keep that. Please don't step on Ruby. Thank you. And let me pull the graphics down. Guys, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow. Make sure you got us on your get that Rumble app. Come on, man. Because you never know. And you know what? It's not just us. Rusty Rockets. You want to check out Rusty Rockets. You want to make sure that you're following Nick Rekieta. If you follow LawTube at all, Nick Rekieta, he's on Rumble now. He got banned for 24 hours, so now Rumble, he's on Rumble. And there's so many great content people, and I want you on Rumble, and I want you following us too. So that's all we got this morning. Here we go. Bye, everybody.